All right, we've got Mike Petersen here. If you have a question for him, raise your hand. I'll call on you. Spencer Nussbaum, we'll start with you. Go ahead.
Hey, Coach.
Hey, Spencer.
So after a loss or a game like that, what strides do you still need to see from your team defensively? And could you talk about what you saw from Plaisance today?
Yeah, so the strides we need to make defensively after tonight are all of them. I thought we got very undisciplined defensively. I mean, they just and again, it was what we talked about before the game, right? This is a completely different team than we faced, and they got us all spread out. And we didn't do a very good job when they got us all spread out, right? We got penetrated and pitched into some threes, and we got penetrated for some layups, and we didn't stay connected very well defensively at all. And so, you know, as they got small and got us spread out, we struggled. We ended up having to go with that really small lineup, which I didn't particularly like, but we couldn't guard them at all with our bigger lineup. I mean, we scored 93. You got to be able to win a game with 93. And I thought Plaisance was phenomenal, right? She played great. I mean, she's a premium shooter, and she shot the ball great tonight. You know, early they got us in some pick and pop stuff, and then we got that straightened out. But then the 2 threes she made early in the second half were just complete defensive breakdowns. I mean, all they did was pop her, and we just didn't come get her. So we got to do a better job there, no question.
Emmanuel Blaze, go ahead.
Hey, Coach, you got big games out of Odyssey and Tianna tonight.
Yeah.
How do you feel about where they're coming? It looks like they're getting a little bit more confidence in their games. I know it's but from what you've seen from them today and what we've seen like the last 2 or 3 games, what are your thoughts on their play and how they're seem like they come along throughout the season?
Absolutely. I mean, both of them are playing much better now than they were, especially a month ago, right? And you know, Odyssey has had back-to-back very good games, right? And Tianna as well. So just really happy with both of them. And they're both good players, you know. Odyssey was just struggling to kind of find where she could score. And now I think she's getting that better. And she's also passing the ball great, right? She had 7 assists tonight. So just really happy with her. And then Tianna's finding her spots better. You know what I mean? Again, this is a whole new group. Odyssey's never played with Tianna. Tianna's never played with, you know what I mean, all of our players. And so they're starting to come together. And we said, you know, this is a team that's going to take a while to develop. And now we've been without Ken for 6 games. And before that, we were out without Cheyenne for 6 games. So they're good. They're working hard. But it's very encouraging what Odyssey's done the last couple of games and what T's done the last couple of games. They're both really good players. So that's encouraging.
Brennan Sudge, go ahead.
Hey, Coach, I know that you spoke about Kennedy in the pregame, but how would you evaluate the play of your guards in order to lead the team in her absence? And then when Kennedy is able to return, what do you feel like the biggest thing that she will bring back to you guys that you guys haven't had over these last few games?
Well, I think our guards have played great. I mean, you know, Court struggled to shoot it a little bit tonight, but most of the shots she got were pretty good shots. But, you know, the last game against Washington, Odyssey, Court, and Tiff all played great, right? Tonight, Odyssey played really well, and Tiff played okay. She got kind of dinged up. She was limping a little bit, and I probably played her more than I should have there in the second half. But she's such a good player, and she fights so hard. So, but Kennedy's different than Odyssey. Odyssey's different than Kennedy. You know, Ken gives us a little more downhill, get to the front of the rim maybe than Odyssey. Odyssey's better, that little pull up mid-range kind of a deal. And so they're a little different, but they complement each other and they complement our other players really well. So, you know, the silver lining, I guess, of Ken being out is that Odyssey's really stepped up. And, you know, that'll just give us another really good piece when we're putting the pieces of the puzzle together when she gets back.
Jamila Johnson, go ahead.
Hey, Coach, this is a non-game related question, but
Okay.
you guys, but ESPN announced earlier today that you guys, the team has been nominated for the sports humanitarian team. of the Year award. What
Yeah.
was it like hearing that news, and what has the mood been like with the team upon hearing that?
Yeah, it's a really big deal. Like, it's the biggest deal ever. And so I think the team was very proud, right? And very flattered. I think both those words. And again, I think it's an appropriate recognition of what our organization, specifically our players, with the support of our staff, but our players did the heavy lifting, obviously, what they did last year in the bubble. The bubble was hard. Okay. Everyone was away from families. It was a beautiful place, but you were locked in, you know what I mean? And then on top of that, our team did all that they did. And again, I've said this before, I'll say it again. You can't underestimate the impact that our organization, our players had, to some extent, and we can argue about this, but to some extent, they impacted the balance of power in the United States Senate. Pretty big deal. And they did it with tremendous integrity. They did it with tremendous focus. They did it with just a huge commitment to do what was right. And so, I think just proud and flattered and all of the positive emotions you can imagine.
Last couple of questions here. First, we'll go to Spencer Nussbaum. Go ahead, Spencer.
Yeah, hard to follow up that question, but I have a basketball related one.
Just basketball, Spencer? Come on, man.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Let's solve some world issues here tonight, man.
Yeah, that'll be next press conference.
Okay, I got you.
So before you were talking about being forced to go small, was that more of an offensive or defensive adjustment?
Defense.
And is that why Cheyenne didn't get a ton of time down the stretch?
Yeah. I mean, it was much more a defensive thing. And again, we give up 96, so it wasn't very good coaching. It's pretty easy, right? But we were having no ability to get matched up, no ability to get them stopped. And so we went smaller, and that smaller group played pretty well together. And then, we lost them there in that stretch, middle of the fourth quarter, maybe toward the end of the fourth quarter. Yeah. Again, we scored 93. 93 should be enough to win a game in this league. We just didn't do a good enough job of defending, and they did a great job. They did a great job of using what they had, and I didn't do a good enough job of helping our players combat that, obviously.
And last question, back to Emmanuel Glaze. Go ahead.
Coach, when you have it with the season like it is in the back-to-back games like you're having during the season, does that make it, because it's kind of a playoff where you have to watch film of the last game and things, is it making it harder, or is it making it easier? What are your thoughts on these back-to-back games where you play a team?
I don't know that it's harder. I get what you're saying. I don't know that it's harder or easier. And this back-to-back was really different because let's be honest, that's not the team we played, right. 4 days ago or whatever it was. You take out a dominant post player and you bring Weiss in there, right? And all of a sudden they've got 5 guards on the floor. And the biggest thing with we just couldn't get matched up in transition. So, I don't know that it's a positive or a negative. You just deal with what you deal with, right? And this one was different because the team was so different.
All right. Thanks so much, Coach.
Yep. Thanks, everybody.
All right. We've got Odyssey Sims here. If you have a question for her, please raise your hand. I'll call on you. No, you look good.
Okay, thanks.
Emmanuel Glaze, go ahead.
Hey, Odyssey, tough game today. What were your thoughts on it between, first of all, congratulations on 22-7. You put up great numbers, but overall for the team, well, what was the difference in the second half in your opinion?
I just think we got a little stagnant. We didn't move the ball as well as we did to start the game. We were missing an extra pass. The ball stayed on one side of the floor. So that gave them opportunity to catch up, go on runs. And we just got to do a better job of just continuing to move the ball, like stay with what's working. And I think we kind of got away from that after the first quarter.
Brandon Sudge, go ahead.
Hey, Odyssey. I wanted to ask you about kind of the guards as a whole in Kennedy's absence. How do you feel like you guys have performed as a unit, and how much you guys looking forward to having her back?
Like every team, when you have a great player out, you just adjust. I mean, we've had some games we won, had some games we lost, but of course we're going to be happy to have her back. A lot of scoring is missing from her, but overall, I think we've been doing a pretty good job without her. But we'll be a greater team with her.
Spencer Nussbaum, go ahead.
Yeah, like Emmanuel was saying before, I mean, 22-7, you're really hitting your stride these past couple of games. I know it's not the outcome that you wanted, but what's been working for you over the past few games? How have you started to hit your stride?
I mean, just going with the flow of the game. That's pretty much it. Playing more, being more aggressive, just not passing up shots, just taking what's given to me.
All right, thanks so much, Joe.
Thank you.
All right, we've got Tianna Hawkins here. If you have a question for her, raise your hand. I'll call on you. And we'll start with B. Terrell. Go ahead, B.
Hey, Tianna, how are you today?
Hey.
All right. Obviously not the outcome you would have wanted from the game, but the opportunity to basically be back in a place where you spent so many years of your professional career. What was that like for you to kind of, I guess, have that first time back?
It felt good to be home tonight. It was a different feeling, but you know, home is always home. It's always a special place in my heart.
Emmanuel Glaze, go ahead.
Hey, Tianna, 17-9 tonight, close to a double-double. But these last few games, I don't know if it was because you played your old team, but or coming off of the bench, what can you say has been the difference in your rhythm over these last few games?
I think with me being new to the team, it's just taking some time for me to get adjusted to the style of play and just, you know, finding my rhythm, you know, on the offensive end. But I try to use that as motivation to continue to do the small things, you know, because when I do the small things, and it gets myself going, and it's just something that I have to build on each game moving forward.
Brandon Sudge, go ahead.
Hey, Tianna, I wanted to ask you, how has Kennedy, how has she continued to be an asset for you guys? Even as she's rehabbing from the elbow injury, and then when she's able to come back, how will she feel kind of like a missing piece?
Well, Kennedy, she's been good. She's been doing what she needs to do as far as getting healthy and getting back on the court. Her energy has been contagious. She's always rooting, you know, on the bench and just talking and giving good feedback, you know, from the things that she see just from watching the game. I know when she come back, I mean, we're going to be a lot more quicker. I think we'll get back to scoring more in transition and just moving the ball a little more.
And Spencer Nussbaum, last question. Go ahead.
Yeah, like everyone else is saying, I mean, great performance tonight, even in the loss. In terms of what you've seen defensively from the team, what strides do you think you guys still need to make?
I think the biggest thing is we just got to be disciplined. There's a few times where we, you know, cheated the play, overplayed the play, or miscommunicated. And, you know, Washington made us pay for it. I think if we, you know, get together and stay on one accord on the defensive end, then we'll, you know, get back to being a good or, you know, decent defensive team.
All right. Thanks so much, Tianna.
All right. Thank you. Have a good one.